Hello, Jason here. Don't tell my wife, but I bought a shooting tripod. So, why might that be a problem, you may ask? Well, if you've looked to see the cost of shooting tripods, to give you an example, a Vortex that comes with a ball head, retail price on that is $1,199. I did not spend $1,199 on this shooting tripod. I purchased this tripod actually to use for a telescope that I recently bought. It's a spotting scope slash telescope. And the little targets that I use to hold my cell phone or a DSLR camera is just fine for that, but it couldn't handle the weight of the telescope. When I was looking up somewhere, I would try to lock it down. The weight of the telescope would cause it to move away from what I was trying to see. It's fine for holding it level for terrestrial use, but it just wasn't cutting it if I wanted to look at Jupiter or anything else. So I was looking for a replacement for the Targus. I came across K&F Concept carbon fiber tripod, in air quotes, because I can't believe that it would be made from real carbon fiber at the price that I paid. So this tripod retails for $169.99. You're never going to pay retail what the manufacturer suggests. Bought it for $139.99, and the Vortex you can find, I think on Midway and whatnot, for $9.99. So $140 versus $1,000. But I wasn't buying this as a shooting tripod. Like I said, I bought it as just a tripod for a telescope. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, gee, that's got a ball head just like what shooting tripods have. It's supposedly made out of the same materials that shooting tripods are made out of. It's got any Arca Swiss rail can mount to it just like a shooting tripod. So hey, if it works for that too, that's just a great big bonus. So I ordered it. It came direct from China. It came from China, and it got here. I was not home, so I got a notification it was delivered. I'm like, they had to deliver it to the wrong place, because I'm expecting to see it on my home security camera, seeing them drop it at the front door. I don't have a camera on the mailbox. Don't tell anyone. I don't have a camera on the mailbox. And the notification said they put it in the mailbox. I'm like, that can't be right. You must have delivered this to the wrong house. So I'm expecting that when I get home, I'm going to be all mad because I got gypped out of my $140 and went somewhere else. Well, that was not the case. It was in the mailbox, because I'll show you later how small it stows up. But all folded up, it stows into this little bag, which just about the bag is a cheap bag. It's padded. It does the job. So I got it out and I set it up, and I didn't have a Arca Swiss rail on any of my rifles at that time, so I used it as a tripod for the telescope, and it worked fine for that. It was able to hold the telescope. I could put it where I wanted to look. I could lock it into place, and it wouldn't move, unlike the cheap $50 Walmart Targus that I bought. So I ordered the Arca Swiss rail. You see it right here, right? It's 8 inches, or as she would say, it's a 3-inch shoe for a Arca Swiss rail. Mounted that on the rifle, tried it out, and I was like, well, wow, this holds the rifle, and the tripod does everything a shooting tripod does. It's no longer a telescope tripod. This is now a shooting tripod. And demonstrate it for you a little bit here. All right, right now it's clamped in so that it'll hold the rifle, but we've got a shooting tripod. I'm aimed on a target in my backyard, and I'd have no problem hitting that. It's not nearly as stable as shooting off of a bench, of course, but a lot more stable than freehand. I can lock it into place. It does move a little bit from where you had it, so you got to come down a little bit. And if your rifle's balanced well enough, it should not move. This one is heavy to the rear, so it kind of wants to lean back a little bit, but yeah, it locks into place. I can go ahead and set it and forget it. Leave it like that. Like if I'm in a shooting blind or set up in the field somewhere. I've got my target down range now. I want to go shoot. Just move over to it. And good to go. All right, any air coming in. You know, we're all set. 140 bucks, I can't complain. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple things here. I'm going to go ahead and take the rifle off. All right, unmounted. Set the rifle down out of the way here. Okay, so on the tripod itself, one negative, or I guess I would say a recommendation, not really a negative, easy workaround, is the screw that holds in the mounting plate. I found that after using this for about a week, it did start to loosen, so I had a little bit of wobble between the head and the shaft. All right, no jokes, guys. All right, so there was a little bit of wobble there between the head and the shaft, but I just retightened the screw. Before I retightened it, I put some blue Loctite on it. Right, so I would recommend, as soon as you get this, take the screw to the mounting plate out, put blue Loctite back on it, and snug it back down. It's threading into aluminum and the screw is steel, so don't overdo it. Just make sure you snug down to where it won't wobble, and that's what the blue Loctite is for. Keep it from backing out from there. Its rotation left and right is pretty smooth. However, if you do over snug the tensioning screw on the right, it does have a little bit of inconsistency in the tension, and I believe that's because it's tightening a steel shaft down onto an aluminum part on the inside. You over tighten it, it is going to dig into that and it is going to mar it internally. There's no reason you ever need to tighten it down though. You want it to be loose so that you can traverse left and right. The looser you go, the easier you can traverse it. It does have some resistance, like a fluid-filled, head would be. One of the legs on it can be detached to use it as a monopod, right? Added bonus here, right? So unscrew this leg. Now you wouldn't be able to use it as a monopod for a firearm unless you get some sort of an adapter, because it's threaded to thread into the bottom of a camera, right? So as a monopod for a camera. But being that this was purchased as a camera slash spotting scope tripod, and then seeing that functionally and in every other way it's pretty much identical to a shooting tripod as well, which is nothing but they just adapt a camera tripod. So at $140, I would not expect this to last me a lifetime. I don't know yet. I've only had it for a week. I've had no issues, but being that almost all of the shooting tripods that you're going to buy are already made in China, why pay the ridiculous markup of the brand name? I'd never heard of K&F Concept, but I did a little bit of research, and they've been making camera tripods for quite a while, and they've got a pretty decent reputation as far as reviews go on these tripods. So I'm, put at ease by that. It can hold this 13-pound rifle just fine in any position I want to lock it into, and it's fully functional as a shooting tripod. This ball head will support up to 22 pounds. I've yet to get a rifle, although I'm sure if you were doing PRS competition, you might have one that weighs that much. But I don't have any rifles that approach that. This is one of the heavier ones that I have at 13 pounds. I think the heaviest one I have with all the garbage and junk that's on it, in the aluminum chassis, it's maybe 14 and a half pounds. So this is good to go for that. I do plan on buying more of the Arca Swiss mounting plates so that I can use this with other rifles. I can't really use this with my high power rifles in the backyard just because I don't want to piss off the neighbors. But I think I'll even get one for my 22s, just for S&Gs. Getting some practice using the shooting tripod here in the backyard, shooting the 22. So I'll show you how this stows, how it's put away, the adjustments on it. So you have the centerpiece. It will extend up. It telescopes, and then we can extend it up even further. So if you're quite a bit taller than me, I'm about 5'10", 5'11", there should be no issues getting this with everything extended out to a proper height. Of course, you can make it shorter too. The shortest length you could get would be with all these legs. Well, I'll just show you. How about we do that? Loosen this, set this back down. All right, and maybe I'll bring it in a little bit. You guys can see it a little bit better. I'm talking about the carbon fiber. All right, so it kind of has the appearance of carbon fiber, feels like carbon fiber, sounds like carbon fiber, has that hollow kind of deadened sound to it. I just couldn't believe that it would truly be carbon fiber for the price that we're talking about here. So adjustability on it. I'm going to go ahead and loosen these so I can bring all these legs all the way in. Now the feet are removable. They thread on, so you can replace the rubber feet that come with it with a spiked metal foot if you so chose. I did see a bunch of positive reviews on the website that sold this. I did see one person say that theirs broke, one of the legs broke, and that there was no option for replacement parts like you might have with Manfrotto, where you can maybe order a replacement part. But hey, for $140, I'll just order a whole new tripod instead of spending a couple grand on a Manfrotto with the ball head and all the other parts that you would need to end up with this sort of a configuration here. Forgot which ones I tightened and which ones I didn't. All right, so that's its shortest height. You can set it down that low, right? So probably not low enough for prone shooting. Of course, you could bring it up from there to, you saw how high it would go. If you want to set it up in a shooting blind where you can be seated. Now for stowage, the legs do have multiple positions. We could get it a bit lower. I don't know how much lower before our center shaft is going to be. No jokes to you guys. He said shaft. This is going to give you a much more stable option here. You know, to get it even lower before we start running into the bottom. But for stowage, all right, you'll loosen this, extend it up, and unlock our legs. Pull those up, rotate the ball head around so that it's not interfering with the legs. All right, and weight on this is 2 pounds, 15.8 ounces. It's pretty light. With the bag, it's a little bit over 3 pounds. This will stow in the bag, and I'll show you some of the other stuff, some of the high quality components that come with it. Maybe put high quality in air quotes, but it, what do you want for $140? Right. Fits in our high quality carry bag, which, for practical purposes, it's just fine. Handles Velcro closed. It's got a zipper. The zipper is high quality enough, it seems like. I don't see an issue with that coming apart. It has attachment points for a sling. If it's so heavy for you that you need to have a sling for it, but it comes with a really cheap sling. It comes with 2 shoes for cameras. We have one basic one here. And we have another one that they call their Pro shoe, where this one can be rotated and adjusted into different positions. You can mount it to the other shoe so that you can have your camera at a right angle or however you want to do it. Right, for a camera. This
just got the threaded portion for a camera. Or a telescope, spotting telescope. Comes with setup instructions, all in Chinese. A hex key to tighten the screw that holds in the ball head. That ball head can also be repositioned. There's 3 slots in the ball head. I'll show you here. For the shoe, you can put it in different positions. Show you this screw that you're going to want to Loctite. All right, so you see you have 1, 2, 3 different positions. I'm just going with the center one. Like I said, first thing you're going to want to do, take that screw out, put some blue Loctite on it, put it back in snug. Right. And go ahead and redeploy this. Because when I'm done with this video, I'm going to have it set up. So, for stargazing or shooting or whatever. It's a neat thing, multi-purpose. You get an idea how quick it is to deploy. Just make sure that these are snug. I just wouldn't over tighten them. I know I'm well strong enough to probably, if I tried to over tighten these, I imagine I would easily break them. But you don't need to tighten them that much. Just snug, and it's going to hold the weight of your rifle or your camera if you're using it as a camera tripod. But yeah, I could have taken that out of my backpack or whatever the case may be. Deploy it. See, I want this leg forward. Whatever direction you're shooting in, you want to have that leg forward. All right, loosen these up a little bit. Let's snug that down just to make it a little easier to put my rifle in there. Won't need that anymore. Have that loose so that it'd be ready for a quick, easy deployment there. Snug it back in. Right, now I have this stowed, sitting in a ready position. Like that for pretty much all night. The clamp did not release from the Arca Swiss mount, sitting like that the whole time. So it was holding the 13 pounds in a way it wasn't meant to. It seems like it's pretty actually well built when we talk about for the price what we're getting compared to. So I'm gonna spend. Can't remember what the shipping was on it, but it was not that much. Maybe I think the shipping might have been free, but $140 for shooting tripod compared to $1,000. Yeah, I'd jump on that all day long. Now, for your tripod, and for that matter, for your bipod manufacturers out there selling these for $1,000, just stop. Right? We know it doesn't cost you that much to make. We know that unless it's Manfrotto, that you are ordering these from a manufacturer in China and having them branded with your brand on it. You're not making them in-house. Right? We're talking about a 90%, they're probably getting this exact same one, which it's just colored a little bit differently. This company does make a bunch of different versions. And that doesn't just go for the Vortex tripods, but you have the Really Right stuff, and you have the no-name tripod. The no-name tripod even admits, it says, hey, we found them in China at a great price, and we imported them over with our branding on there. Right? They don't lie about it, or they're almost all made in China, guys. So nowadays it's going to be pretty hard to get away from that. But don't spend $1,000 on one, right? Especially if you've just been kind of thinking about. You see all these YouTubers with using a shooting tripod. You're like, yeah, that looks pretty neat. I want one, until you see the price. Yeah, but for $140, it's a good way to get into it. Now, this was going to be for hard use in PRS competition, yeah, I probably would spend that $1,000 for just a base tripod without a ball head from Manfrotto, and then spend another $400 or $500 on the ball head, then another $400 or $500 on the self-leveling head, and then another $90 on the shoe, because you don't want to compromise on price in competition. But for light use, I can't see a way that you can go wrong with this. You might even get into PRS competition using one of these. I've seen other versions that have quick throw levers instead of knobs, so that you can more quickly attach and remove the tripod from your weapon, and that sort of thing. So maybe spend a little bit more on one of these same brands, well shy of that $1,000 entry level price. So if you guys have any questions, comments about the tripod, about the video, go ahead and leave them down below. I will put a link to the website that I bought this from. I checked earlier today; it was still selling for $140. If you want to dip your toe into the tripod pool, give it a try. You will spend probably a third of the cost of the tripod on just getting a mounting shoe. The one I have on here is an MDT 3-inch shoe. I think it's actually a 2.5, but whatever it is, $50 for that. So that's crazy when you think about it. Just the shoe, the M-LOK shoe that goes on the bottom of your forehand is a third of the cost of the whole tripod. So I mean, that's probably another case where you could you're paying way over the manufacturing cost for something. It's what people will pay. As long as people keep spending over $1,000 for a Chinese-made tripod, then they're going to keep costing that, just like with our bipods, right? So I'd say don't contribute to that. Make them bring their prices down to a competitive level. They're making way too much on us. All right, guys, so that's all I got. Be safe and have a good one.